Wow. Joe Sakic sure has some.
Well, Adam, say it.
No, you got it wrong.
He has.
It's not Joe Sakic.
What do you mean?
Oh,
it's the guy that works under Joe Sakic.
It's Booger McFarland.
It's Christmas McFarland. You sure got some balls, Chris McFarland. And also, I just want to say that some of the Boston Bruins making some potential trades here, some trades and potential trades. I bet they could all benefit.
I'm angry about how much I like what they're doing.
From using the promo code Dangle and getting the Beard and Balls bundle at manscaped.com. I mean, why wouldn't you want to take advantage of that? It's internationally recognized as 20% off because we are the Steve Dangle Podcast and we're international, baby. All right, now, Charlie Coyle, you, sir, are a Colorado Avalanche. Casey Mittelstadt, you are a member of the Boston Bruins, and this is a very interesting trade. Let's start with the Colorado angle because this has been a full-blown head-to-toe makeover. What have they made? 7 trades this year?
Can you give me the full trade details?
Yes. Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, I can do that. Here. You want that right? To Colorado. So Colorado gets Charlie Coyle and a 5th-round pick in 2026, and Casey Mittelstadt, Zellers, and a 2nd-round pick go to Boston. So let's talk about Charlie Coyle and what he adds to this group. Leaf fans have seen a lot of Charlie Coyle, specifically in the playoffs. How'd that go?
I hate him. Get out of my division forever. No, as this Leafs fan is very happy to not have to see Charlie Coyle anymore.
What's he do best?
Beef! 6'3", 215 pounds. He is a very strong player. He's taken a huge step back in terms of production. Last season, he had 25 goals and 60 points. That's not happening again on account of he just got a third of the way there. He's at 22 points, but Colorado is going from a second-line center they didn't like in Casey Mittelstadt to Brock Nelson throwing Mittelstadt out the window, and then they get Charlie Coyle, who is best suited at this point to be a third-line center. 1, 2, 3 of McKinnon, Brock Nelson, and Charlie Coyle is formidable.
It's pretty scary. They're pretty serious about it. Now, we just ranted and raved about how great Dallas looks up front with Mikko Rantanen. Jesse, it's looking more and more like Dallas and Colorado could play in the first round. How does Colorado match up against Dallas now, given that they've added and they've gotten bigger?
Pretty good. Like you can't really look at Colorado and be like, no, that other team's gonna beat them. You know, any team right now in the National Hockey League, Colorado can think that they can beat in a 7-game series because they went from a player in Casey Mittelstadt who they've hated for a long time to somebody.
Hate is such a strong word.
They've wanted to get rid of Mittelstadt for a while, and it's largely.
You know what's funny? They got him literally a year ago yesterday.
And this entire season, they haven't liked Mittelstadt. And it's largely because of his play. It hasn't been great. So you get somebody in Charlie Coyle who was playing a role, I think, on the Bruins that was above his skill level for what he should be asked of him. And now he gets to be protected in this Avalanche lineup, and I think he's going to absolutely thrive in the role that he's going to have for the Avalanche. This is a wonderful deal for them, and everybody watch out. Even Dallas, who's loaded up, watch out. Colorado could do it.
And, like, I don't think we can lose sight of how much money Colorado's getting off the books by trading Casey Mittelstadt. That's why they had to give up a 2nd-round pick. Yes. That's why they had to give up Wylde and Jesse Blake. Wylde and Jesse Blake, by the way, it's basically the Boston Bruins just getting a 3rd-round pick. He was picked 3rd round, 76th overall at this past draft in 2024. He's with the Green Bay Gamblers of the USHL. What? He's a left. Yeah, it's a great name. But get a load of these friggin' numbers, dude. In 40 games in the USHL, 37 goals.
Oh, wow.
And 58 points. Does he lead his team? Oh, look at that. I'm so surprised. Yes, he does. He has 37 goals. The next closest player has 26. The next closest after that is 12.
So
those guys are kind of important.
All I want to know is what mascot do the Green Bay Gamblers have?
Yeah.
Is it like a walking roulette wheel?
Green Bay Gamblers.
Is it like a blackjack?
Ace.
Hey, see, there we go.
Since the 2008-2009 season, I didn't think there would be an answer to this. Since the 2008-2009 season, the Green Bay Gamblers have used a yellow bobcat prominently in the team's logo, as well as having a bobcat by the name of Ace as the team's mascot.
It should have just been a card.
And
Like
it
a
is
walking card.
It is just a bobcat.
Now, the Boston Bruins have been very, very good in the past at picking up players that have gone a little under the radar or a little underappreciated where they are. I'm thinking specifically of Charlie Coyle, who they got for a third-round pick, which seems like yesterday at a trade deadline and was so valuable for them for so long. Casey Mittelstadt is 26 years old. You pair that with Pavel Zacha, who's 27 years old, and all of a sudden, the centers look good. And if you allow Casey Mittelstadt to be a little bit more of what he is, which is a guy who scores a lot. You've got the defensive centers in Lindholm and Zacha to kind of take care of the uglier side or the harder side of the puck. Does Casey Mittelstadt go to Boston, help with their retool, and flourish?
I mean, it's really difficult to say. The reason he ended up in Colorado in the first place is because after years of being a prospect that was 2 years away from being 2 years away, he figured it out. After a 19-point season, he then hit 59, then 47. He put up 10 points in 18 games as soon as he got to Colorado. He's operating at like a half a point a game click, which is really disappointing. And the defense and size just isn't there to make up for any of that. But Boston does an unbelievable job of finding Bruins and really annoyingly good job of finding guys who fit the Boston Bruins. So for them to trade for a player who has this kind of money committed to him means they really believe in him.
That's interesting. Yeah, and his contract does expire in 2027. Jesse, what do you think about Mittelstadt's fit with the Bruins?
I'm skeptical of this acquisition for the Boston Bruins because whenever I see Colorado not want a player, I think my first thought is, why don't they want him? You know, like why couldn't he fit? He's making the same, nearly the same as Coyle. Like the salaries aren't too dissimilar. So
Coyle's got 1 year left.
Yes, but the money I'm talking about, the money they're both making five something, you know? So the money's not too dissimilar. So why didn't they want this player instead? So I'm worried about, like, he hasn't proven anything at the NHL level yet to justify the roles he had in Colorado, and, you know, Buffalo moved off of him, and now Boston's going to try it. When's it going to stick and we think that he can grow into the player that he can be? Like, is that ever going to happen? So it's a wait and see for me with Mittelstadt and Boston. I like the assets they gained in the second round pick for sure. But in terms of him being overly productive for them, I don't know.
There are rumors right now as of this recording that there have been Brad Marchand trade talks. So, you know, this guy is he's a real character person in the room. Obviously, he's the captain. He is sort of the physical embodiment of what it is to be a Bruin.
I thought he might have been in this deal.
Do you need Brad Marchand to help usher in this new chapter? Or, guys, I'm just going to ask you on the spot right now, does he get moved today?
Well, it's crazy. So, like, to give you context, because I know this video is going to go up after the deadline probably, it's 2:36. Mm-hmm. If I had to guess, I think he stays.
Okay.
Boston has had a lot of things go wrong for them this year. I think they probably want to make it anyway. You can tell they want to make it anyway because they've been doing this. I really like what they've done over this deadline because they're selling without selling. Like this trade is a great example of that. They are somehow paying $500,000 more for a player who scores more, and you got
and is younger,
really promising USHL prospect. You got a second round pick. You could keep all those things. You could flip them. You can keep them now and flip them at the draft. The Boston Bruins have so many options here. It really doesn't feel like it's possible for them to make the wrong decision.
Mm-hmm. Well,
which is
famous last words.
Typical of Boston. Yeah, but it's me saying it. Not them, is it?
I don't think the Bruins are a playoff team this year. I think they're trying to get ready for next season where they're trying to contend because they're not going to go into a rebuild, but they have to admit that the 24-25 season didn't work out the way they wanted to. a full training camp of Swayman, everybody performing at their best of their abilities with these new assets, maybe flip them for players you can use next season. I think this season is kind of a write-off. We sail off into the sunset and we get ready for next year.
Okay. All right. Boston Bruins, we'll see if Marchand gets traded as our SDPN trade deadline coverage continues.